There's a Buddhist teaching that says, silence isn't what you say when you have nothing to say. It's what you say when you decide not to defend yourself. Now I want you to look at something with me. It's a circle, painted with a single stroke of ink, one brush, one breath. The painter doesn't correct it, doesn't go back over it, doesn't touch it up to make it perfect. Look closely at the exact point where the circle almost closes. And doesn't. There's a gap left, an open space, unfinished. And if you learn to look at that gap the way they do here, you'll stop needing anyone to prove you right just to feel at peace. That small gap is one of the reasons this drawing has hung in temples for centuries, been studied by monks, and copied by artists around the world. In many readings, that gap is the most important part of the whole piece, the one that gives everything else its meaning. There's no single reading of this image, and what I'm about to offer you is one way to sit with it, not a final definition. Today, we're going to talk about why leaving something unfinished, unexplained, unjustified, might be one of the deepest forms of peace of mind there is. This circle is called an Enso. It comes from the Zen tradition within Buddhism, and it's historically painted as a form of spiritual calligraphy, not as a drawing technique. A monk sits down, breathes, prepares the ink, and when his mind settles, he lifts the brush and draws the circle in one motion, one breath, without thinking about the outcome while he does it. Historically, some monks painted an Enso as part of their daily practice, often first thing in the morning, not to get the perfect circle, but to see what state their mind was in that day. Sengai Gibon, an 18th century Japanese master, is well known for his Enso, including one often cited that combines the circle with a triangle and a square. In some readings of this tradition, that unclosed gap is understood as a reminder that nothing is ever fully finished, and that it doesn't have to be seen as a failure. And this is where this stops being about a drawing and starts being about you. Have you ever felt like you need to close every conversation or every misunderstanding before you can rest? Like if someone walks away with the wrong idea about you, you have to fix it no matter what, even if it costs you the whole night's sleep. We walk around convinced that an unclosed gap is dangerous, that if we don't explain, don't defend every decision we make, then we lose. That silence leaves us exposed, but the mind that can't stand leaving anything unresolved is the same mind that never gets to rest. It's the one that checks the message it sent 3 hours ago, the one replaying over and over what it should have said instead. And in the end, it wears itself out defending a version of itself to people who were never willing to listen in the first place. Within this tradition, there's a teaching in the Noble Eightfold Path called Samma Vaca, usually translated as right speech. It's not just about not lying. It's often read as an invitation to understand that words aren't free, that saying too much can come at a cost. Every time you over-explain, justify yourself to someone who already decided not to understand you, or get pulled into an argument just to have the last word, a small crack opens up. And through that crack, your peace leaks out little by little, like water spilling from a jar. Within this tradition, there's a well-known story, passed down more as a teaching than as verified historical fact, about a man who once approached the Buddha, furious, and hurled insults at him in front of others. The Buddha listened to all of it, completely calm. When the man finally ran out of breath, the Buddha asked him something like, "If someone offers you a gift and you choose not to accept it, who does that gift belong to?" The man said it would still belong to whoever offered it, And the Buddha replied, "Today you offered me your anger. I choose not to accept it. So, it stays with you." My own take on this story is that we almost never get to choose whether someone hands us their anger, their judgment, or an insult. The only thing we actually get to choose is whether we accept it or let it pass by. Now I want to go back to the circle because there's something almost nobody mentions. There's a legend that a good Enso has to come out perfect on the first try in a single attempt, as proof of the painter's spiritual level. That's the version that gets passed around, the one that makes a nicer story. But within this tradition, it's understood differently. Every time a calligrapher draws a new Enso, the last one is left behind, and they start fresh, never going back to touch it up. An Enso is never corrected, never revised. Once it's drawn, it stays exactly as it came out. And because the state of the mind shifts from day to day, every circle looks different from the one before it. Some more closed, some more open, without any of them being a better or worse attempt. The real teaching of the Enso isn't get it perfect on the first try, it's the opposite. Accept the circle exactly as it comes out that day, and that doesn't take away any of its value. Silence works the same way. It's not something you do once and stay calm forever after. It's a practice you return to, one that works some days and slips back into the old need to explain yourself on others. That's not a failure either. That's the practice. I want to leave you with an image to carry out of here. In this tradition, holding on to a grudge is compared to gripping a burning coal in your hand, meaning to throw it at someone else. The other person may not even remember what happened. The one still getting burned is you. Let's pause here for a second. Think of something someone said to you a long time ago that still stings when you remember it. That person probably moved on with their life 5 minutes later. You've been carrying the coal ever since. Letting it go doesn't mean what they did was okay. It means you stop hurting yourself over something that's already over. That's what an unclosed circle really is. It doesn't need to close to be complete. I want to share something from my own experience. For a long time, if someone walked away with the wrong idea about me, I couldn't let it go. I'd write these long, exhausting messages trying to explain myself, hunting for the exact words that would finally make them understand. What I learned, slowly and not overnight, is that some gaps aren't there for you to close. Some people are never going to understand you, no matter what you say, and that says nothing bad about you. Leaving that gap open without fighting to close it has been one of the hardest and most freeing things I've practiced. So I'll leave you with the same question I ask myself every time I come back to this circle. Is leaving something unclosed weakness because you didn't dare defend yourself? Or is it strength because you decided not to spend your energy on something that didn't deserve it? There's no answer that fits every case. Only you know which one describes you today. Tell me in the comments what gap you're carrying right now and whether you've decided to leave it open. See you in the next video.